Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you watched my video with Costco sales ad. I wrote down the prices of things now and I'm going to see um, what they cost when they go on sale if they make it go up. Now, of course, I go under the Instacart thing, but it doesn't matter. I am comparing apples to apples because I will be looking up the prices on Instacart. Just to see if they put them up higher. I'm probably going to add a few more, and then I'm going to do a second video, like I said. But if you haven't watched it, watch the Costco flyer ad. So I thought I'd do a video today about being frugal. And my flashlight, of course, has 3 settings, and the most lightest one doesn't work. So here we go, in no order. It's all over the place. So do you consider yourself frugal? Hopefully I got enough memory to do it. So, one of the things is, if you drink tea, do you use up your tea bag till like the bitter end? Now I found that, well, my mom did, I did. We always used it and used it and used it till like there was nothing left. And I thought everyone did that because we did it. And I know a certain somebody would just use it once and throw it away. And I would say, why are you throwing it away? Because there's definitely more tea you can make. And obviously, if you put it, if you make tea in a pitcher, sometimes I would make, like, I like raspberry hibiscus tea, and you warm up the tea, hot water, put the bags in, and then you put in the refrigerator, and then it's a nice cold drink. But anyhow, I noticed this other person just threw it away, and I thought, what a waste. So I do reuse tea bags. My mom did too. Now, my mom went to the extreme. She would cut off mold from cheese, say it's perfectly good. She would cut off mold from bread, perfectly good. In the food category of doing things with food, when you go to, I don't remember Sam's anymore. It's been so long since we've had one. I haven't been a member of BJ's for a long time. But I remember before the world going sideways or upside down, whatever way you look at it, Costco used to have samples. And we would try here and there, but not make a whole thing of it. But I used to hear people say, we would go to Costco's for lunch. And I would think, they have that little food court, which used to be reasonable. I haven't been to Costco in forever, but anyhow, they go and take the samples and eat enough and even go through twice, and they would get their lunch. Do you do that? We didn't. Like I say, we would get a sample here and there. I don't know if you'd call that being frugal or cheap, but I don't want to say what I think it is, because if you do it, that's fine. You do you, boo, right? Then, let's see, like I say, I have this in no order. So, paper towels. I know a lot of people think paper towels are a waste, but let me tell you, if you got something spilled and you don't have something handy, paper towel really comes in handy. Or if you're a person who gets a bloody nose a lot and you don't happen to have a Kleenex, it's a lifesaver. I remember I used to work for this family, and they would always buy a single roll of paper towels, and they were 89 cents for one roll. And I told them, if you just bought an 8-pack, it was $3.99. Can you imagine an 8-pack of paper towels, $3.99? Store brand, but still. They don't sell that store brand. They sell recycled paper, did I say? It's paper towels. And it is, I should have looked up the price, but outrageous. But anyhow, $3.99 for 8 rolls of paper towels, and they would spend $89. So one day I bought them a 8-pack, and they were like, "Why'd you do that?" I said, "Because that's what I do." And this was in my first marriage. So anyhow, people I work for had sons, but they were like, I don't know, 60 years old. And these people were, well, they even said they were cheap, but they weren't cheap when it came to the paper towels. So the son said, "Why do you have 8 rolls of paper towels? It'll take you forever to use them up." Well, not really. They did use a lot of paper towels. They also used paper plates. And before I forget, they would wash their paper plates. And they were elderly, and yeah, that's being frugal, but how clean can you get a paper plate? Sometimes there's a time and place to do things, but I personally think it's not quite sanitary to wash a paper plate, but some people do. And there's going to be something further that I'm going to talk about reusing. So anyhow, oh, my stomach's growling. I hope you don't hear it. But anyhow, so then the father said to his 60-year-old son, he said, well, when I figured out, she is right, because 89, and I'm just doing quick math in my head, 89 a roll for 8 rolls would be 712. 8 rolls in the big pack is only $3.99. That's a big savings. The son still couldn't wrap his mind around it, but that's a big savings. Not anymore. You can't. Oh my gosh. Price of paper towels is outrageous. Repairs. Will you repair something, and even with duct tape, just to not have to buy something? Again, to me that seems like the cheap category, but it could be frugal too. I mean, you want to make something last as long as you can, and isn't duct tape your best friend? Well, it is mine. I remember once my mom was duct taping around a window, because we used to use plastic, not the kind where you use the blow dryer with, because that was more expensive. We would use heavy duty plastic, but it's much cheaper than those kits. And duct tape, well, she didn't realize, and I don't know how, but she was like me. She would, think things through. When we went to take it off in the spring, the paint came off with it, so that wasn't a good idea. But anyhow, I do a lot of things to fix with duct tape to make it last. Do you? Now, this is something that, well, I'm just going to say, do you do it? Some people rewash their, like, Ziploc baggies or plastic bags. I know some people can't stand when you use plastic bags, but, to each their own, right? They rewash their saran wrap and they rewash their foil. Do you do this? So, first one, Ziploc baggies or baggies, whatever you call them. Saran wrap and foil. To me, it feels like doing that would be like, well, you couldn't even do it, but if you could, you put your garbage in a plastic bag, and then you empty it into your tote. You can't do that. It's got to be in bags. Plus, it would be a big mess, but that's what it reminds me of. But people do it. They rewash. I don't know how many do, but interesting to know. If you could comment, I'd be interested to know what kind of things you do to be frugal on my list, or anything else you can add. Then there's reuse. Do you reuse gift wrap, like Christmas, birthday, and gift bags? Then we got, I wish I had a higher light, but I don't know. It was just working, and now the biggest one doesn't work. If you find a clearance aisle in the store, do you feel like you won the lottery? I love clearance aisles. I remember, too, in my first marriage, my kids would say, and we were not well off, but we were pretty good off. So I wouldn't have to look for clearances, but I did. And they would say, my mom won't buy it unless it's on sale. Well, sort of true, but not true. I mean, obviously meat, potatoes, things that don't go on sale. But, like snacks or fruit roll-ups, I remember. If they weren't on sale, we weren't getting them. So over here, what do you consider a vacation? Saving on a vacation. Vacation. I don't even know what a vacation is. Last vacation I think we went on was the Make-A-Wish trip for one of my other sons when he had brain cancer. So it's been a long time. I'm really not a vacation person. I don't like to fly. I could think of better things, like, again, everything goes in my first marriage, because, I don't know, it was a true marriage, I would say. I would feel more to save money for the future for a rainy day than to spend it on a vacation. We did take some vacations. I think we went twice to Florida in my first marriage. So we did vacation, but I would rather save the money. I always wanted to have that security. But what we did for vacations, we had a tent. We'd go in the backyard and camp, because for me, my first husband, his family loved to camp, and not me. When we went with them or to join them, we stayed at either a cabin or a hotel, because I need to have my bathroom, not a big garbage can, basically, where you go to the bathroom in and you can't wash yourself. So no, I'm not much of a camper. I camped when I was a kid, and maybe it was so much camping I didn't like it. But I grew up poor, so our camping was, you sleep on the floor of the tent. And if it rains, oh my gosh, everything's wet. So, well, you have a sleeping bag, but we went with another family that were well off. So they had a nice cot, a nice sleeping bag, and, a real nice um, tent, and later a pop-up trailer, and then one of the motorhome things. So camping and me, no. But camping in the backyard is fun. I started that when I was a Cub Scout leader for 10 years, and we would do a camping in the backyard because then you could go to the bathroom in the house. But we did do the cooking outside and all that, so to get the whole feel of that. But that would be like a vacation. My kids loved it. We also used to do staycations. This one family I worked for sent us every year on a staycation, so that would be going just to a hotel in town and having a vacation. And we had a lot of fun. I remember one year we went and we did these skits, and I think I have them on a memory card. I don't know if I put them up on YouTube, but oh God, we had so much fun. Just out of the blue, we started doing skits. We also, they gave us enough money. We ordered a couple times room service. Otherwise, we went to like a fast food to eat. I brought some, snacks and stuff, but they said, don't you be bringing food. We want you to have a vacation. So we've done staycations, not for a long time. Do you split bills? Now, we don't go out to eat. I don't know. My first marriage, we would go on date nights, sometimes out to eat. Second marriage, too. The second guy would just go out to eat by himself behind my back. But first guy, he was happy if he had bread, peanut butter, and milk. That's all he needed in life. But anyhow, we would go sometimes, and I remember in the first marriage, that husband was more like, I don't know, a people pleaser. So if we went out to eat with people, they would say, well, let's just split the bill. Now, I'm not a drinker, and neither of my husbands were drinkers. Like I said, they would find a plant if we had a party at home and spill out their beer because they wouldn't even finish a beer. So we're not drinker people. But, people go out, they get appetizers, they get drinks, and we would just get, sometimes, like, if we were somewhere where they had clam chowder, we'd get that maybe. But, just a meal, and that's it, not drinks. But if you split it with everyone, and their bill is like $30-$40 and yours more than yours, no. But the first husband liked to do that. He would split it. I didn't really speak up. I was real young then. But I would think about, wow, that money could go in the bank for savings. But otherwise, we didn't really go out a lot to eat. So do you split the bill knowing people drink and order appetizers and desserts? Oh, I wish my light didn't break down here because I'm trying to read. I shouldn't have put cat scratch. Oh, do you always have a quarter in your car? If you do, is it because you go to Aldi's? I always have a quarter in my car for Aldi's. Well, I did back in the day. But anyhow, if you find money on the floor or the ground anywhere, will you pick it up change? Will you pick up change that isn't heads up? Do you feel like you've won the lottery if you find change or if it's a quarter? Do you go to Aldi's? Do you even have an Aldi's? What do you think about the quarter in the grocery cart? Do you put it back to get your quarter back, or do you give it to someone else? I remember I used to always give it to someone else when I got a cart, and I remember my second husband used to say, you're probably giving it to some millionaire. I don't know. I just thought if it's a nice thing I could do for the day, it made me feel good. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Staying in budget on your food budget. How in the world do you do that nowadays? Well, I still see people. I like to watch grocery hauls, and I see them buying steaks and big roasts. I can't believe roasts. I used to make a lot of chuck roast. And it would be, you could get a roast for a little over $3. Now, my gosh, I saw chuck roast for like between $24 and $30. A chuck roast, $24 and $30. It's unreal. I can't even understand it. I mean, obviously, this was in my first marriage when it was that little. But still, even in the second marriage, I remember you could still get one for $4 or $5. The prices are outrageous, so do you stay in your food budget, or you just go with the flow and pay more money and keep buying what you used to buy? What is here? Good Lord. I should write it good the first time. And I don't usually write stuff down. I just do it from memory. What is this? Oh, yeah, about your heat. Do you keep your heat lower? I used to know this family, and I remember when we went over, in my first marriage again, with our first son, he was, I don't know how many months old. I'm trying to think, it was in the winter. I think he was 4 months old. We went over. That house was so cold, we cut our visit short. I mean, all our noses were freezing. They were millionaires, but they were definitely what I would consider cheap. But when their children came to visit, they lived out of state, and they had their newborn baby, they would turn up the heat. Actually, these people, I don't consider them my relatives, but they are my relatives. But they would have my little newborn baby freeze. So, but not saying it's a bad thing if you do that. I just wouldn't suggest doing it when there's a baby in the house. So, do you turn your heat down to save money? Because nowadays, heat is very expensive. Okay, let's look here. What do I got? Plus, my good reading glasses broke, so I got the other pair that aren't that good. Okay, so I talked about the paper towels, talked about the duct tape. Oh yeah, and the thing about the foil, reusing the foil, I used to go to a doctor and he talked about how he would reuse foil. He would wash it, and that was again in my first marriage, and I was very frugal then. I mean, I'm still frugal now, but I didn't have to be, but I still was because that's who I am. But when I heard him talking about washing foil and drying it, reusing it, because I did not do that. I just don't think you can wash things, especially saran wrap, wash it good enough to use it, and there could be bacteria, you can get sick. I had food poisoning once, so I'm very careful about stuff like that. If you've ever had food poisoning, I think you'd be pretty careful too, because that's something you never forget. Then let's see. Okay, do you make, well, this is with the food thing, do you make things stretch? I used to love, again, this was back in the day, like when rotisserie chicken was $4.99, not $9.99. Either I'd buy rotisserie chicken, or back in the day when you can get a whole chicken and a nice sized chicken for $3.99. So I would make the chicken. I would make this delicious stuffing. There were just a few things. It was like parsley, eggs, breadcrumbs, and spices. You put in the best stuffing in the world. Oh my gosh. Well, anyhow, so they had nice plump chicken. We would have a meal with that chicken, probably mashed potatoes, gravy, some kind of vegetable. Then with the leftover chicken, I would make chicken soup with the bone, use some of the chicken to put in there, and either put rice or potatoes and carrots or whatever you like to put in your soup. And then we'd even have leftover chicken that I would make that chicken, add cream of chicken soup, or make some kind of, gravy with chicken cubes, and then put that, you could add carrots and peas or whatever vegetable you like. Mix it in there with the chicken, either the cream of chicken soup or gravy you made, and make some homemade biscuits or buy biscuits and put all that mixture over the biscuits, and maybe some mashed potatoes, and there you go, you got a great meal. I used to love doing that. But that's when chickens were bigger, they cost less. Now chickens, oh my gosh, there's so much money and there's hardly anything to them. Then, oh yeah, there used to be something called, oh, before I do that one, saving water. When you brush your teeth, do you turn the water on and off to save water? I think I read somewhere that, I don't know if it was about water, electricity, never mind, I don't know which one it was, but anyhow. And if you wash dishes, do you like fill up a dish pan with soapy water and then just turn on the water per dish, or do you just let the water run? Then the last thing, there used to be something called a trade exchange they had here, again in my first marriage. So my husband worked for this guy who was in the trade exchange, and he talked him into doing it. He could get talked into doing a lot of things, but anyhow, it kind of worked out. Like, he would do services, and then they add your amount that you put into it, and then you get out. I remember he bought me these beautiful, beautiful roses from a florist, and I'm like, why would you do that? It's like, you could just get them at the grocery store. And he says, well, I did it through the trade exchange. I said, but still, it's money that we could use towards something else. But it was really good. It actually worked out pretty good for us, like doing something special for me, you know. And I said, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't mean, but the first thing out of my mouth was we could use it for something else, you know, more than flowers or, you know, plants, something you could plant outside. But it was a nice thought. But some people do trades, like you do this for someone, they do, you know, say you're a carpenter and they're a plumber. I don't know how much that goes on, but I remember in my first marriage, we did that, not even through the trade exchange thing, just we were doing like trade, do this for that. Like there was a guy who was a horticulturist, so he would plant all my peach trees, apple trees, you know, everything like that. And then my first husband would go and do like wash their windows, clean their gutters, whatever it was they traded. So trading is good. I don't know if they do it nowadays, but it's a good saver of money. So if you can answer any of the things I asked you about, and do you do it, or anything else you do to be frugal, or are you frugal, or do you still live the way you lived prior to, you know, that year? So let me know. I hope someone answers, because I would be curious to see, um, are you frugal? What do you consider frugal? And is there a difference between frugal and cheap? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. Please share our videos. We're trying to get up to 1,000 or 1,100 so I can monetize my channel. And then hopefully, well, I don't know how much money you make at the beginning, but we're trying to work toward getting my son a computer. That would be great, because he has a business idea, but you need a computer, and then we can make much better videos. Also, be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. Pay it forward if you can, and be the reason someone smiles today, and make sure you smile today too. I hope you comment on this video. I would be really curious what your thoughts are on this. Thanks for watching. Bye.